2024, another year has gone by, and we had another year of game releases. Last year, I made a video talking about all the games that were released in 2023. I talked about the ones I played, all the ones that came out, the good ones, the bad ones, and how I believed that 2023 was one of the best years in gaming that we've ever had. I still stand behind that. Obviously, we've had other banger years. I think 2011 was a banger year for video games. 2007 had some banger video games. 2017 had some good games. So there's tons of years that really good games have come out. Last year for me was one of those years, really good games. Obviously, it's all subjective because if you don't like certain genres or types of games that got released that year, then you may not think it's as big a year for you. Like, I think last year was also the year of the farming simulators. If you like farming simulators, then you probably really liked last year's. Regardless, we're into 2024 at the end of it, and I wanted to go through and just talk about the games that have come out in 2024, the games that I played, and just ones that are on the backlog, ones that I haven't played yet. But I also want to talk about the good games and the bad games, just kind of all of it. So we have Dragon's Dogma 2. Now, I have never played any, I didn't play Dragon's Dogma, the first one. I don't know if there's others, if there's any spin-offs or anything like that. It's an ARPG published by Capcom, and I think a lot of people didn't really like it. I think it had some serious issues as far as like running well. I think the PC port is what it was that was really struggling. So yeah, that I don't know. I would like to play that game eventually, but I'll probably wait until it gets fixed. And maybe it's fixed at this point. I think it was released maybe like mid-year. Yeah, I don't know. Is what it is, I guess. Next we have Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I don't know much about this one. Looks like it's Ubisoft Montpellier, published by Ubisoft. It could just be a generic one. I haven't heard much about this one in the gaming space. But the next one we have Black Myth Wukong. Now, I own this game. When I built my PC this year, my graphics card came with the a Black Myth Wukong download code. I haven't played it yet, though. It is on the backlog. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to it in 2025. We'll just see how things go. I've already got my list of games I'm going to play in 2025. And I can't remember if that one's on there or not. But regardless, this one got nominated for Game of the Year. I don't know if it'll win. I think it has really good chance of winning. Everybody loved it. It's kind of like a Souls-like hack and slash. Everybody loved this game, from what I hear. So it's I believe it's a Chinese. Is it a Chinese studio that did it? Published by Game Science, and developed by Game Science. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about the development of this game, but I do know that it's incredibly popular, and I do want to get to it. So it's probably going to win Game of the Year. Next, we have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is like part 2 of the Final Fantasy VII Remake series. You had Final Fantasy VII Remake, the first one. Now Rebirth is part 2. From what I gather, like a lot of people really like this, especially like classic Final Fantasy fans, because it's like another take on something that they really like. Plus, it's more modernized. So I definitely want to get to the Final Fantasy VII Remake series eventually. I do think that there's going to be one more part to the Final Fantasy VII Remake series. I'm not too sure on that, though, but I think there is going to be one. And that one also got nominated for Game of the Year. So next we have Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. This is part of the Yakuza series. It's a beat 'em up. I haven't played any of the Yakuza series, or I guess now it's titled Like a Dragon series. Haven't played any of them, don't know anything about it, so maybe eventually I will. Next we have Tekken 8. It is a fighting game. I'm not a big fighting game fan, but I do know that a lot of people really like Tekken 8. Then we have Senua Saga Hellblade 2. Yeah, this game came out. I didn't really hear about it or any marketing. One day I checked on Game Pass and it was out, and people were talking about it a little bit. I don't really know much about the Hellblade series. I know that there's Hellblade 1 and 2. Eventually I will play through these as well. Next we have Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail. I think this is part of the expansion. This is the MMO. It's not part of it. It is an expansion to the MMO, so I'm not really into it. I've seen a lot about Final Fantasy XIV. It looks good. I'm just not a big MMO guy. Next, we have Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I don't know much about this at all. Honestly, I didn't even know it was coming out or it was even being developed until I think it was Microsoft had like an Xbox showcase, and they showed off a bunch of games, which was really good, by the way. I think it was back in June. Really good. Lots of gaming bangers I saw on there that I was super stoked for. And I think that was the first time I'd heard about Indiana Jones. And then I had 6 months to forget about it. And then it was recently released here. And I think it was this month, December 8th. I watched a cutscene where it was comparing, it's not Raiders of the Lost Ark. I think it's Temple of Doom. It's comparing the iconic scene where Indy pulls off the treasure. He's running, like the dude he's with takes the treasure. Like Indy throws him the treasure. The guy doesn't give Indy the whip, and then he runs through, and Indy has to make the jump. Then he goes and sees the guy die. Anyway, I think I'll probably play this game eventually. It's looks like it's developed by Machine Games and published by Bethesda, so it looks good. We'll see what people say. I'm not one to play new games all that much, just because it's really expensive. And AAA gaming, like, man, you're paying $70 for a game that has the potential to be dog dookie. So I don't know. I'm more in the camp of I wait a little bit for games to go on sale, or if I hear that it's really good, I'll pay full price. Anyway, yeah, Indiana Jones. Oh, I'll give you the full title. Indiana Jones. Oh, I already said that. In the Great Circle. Next, we have Astrobot, which I want to play this game so bad. I do not own a PS5. I'm hoping that one day Sony will start making their first-party games for PC as well, because this is one of those games that I do want to play. It looks really fun. It's a platformer. I think it takes a lot of different Sony IPs and puts them in there. It looks really good, and I've heard it's very innovative, so that makes me excited. One day I will get to Astrobot because I love platformers. Next, we have Stalker 2: Heart of Chernobyl. One of my buddies is playing this currently, and he says it's incredibly hard, and it's also hard on your hardware, your PC. So you look at the base minimum requirements of Stalker 2, and it's kind of nuts. It's like a very realistic survival game. I don't know if I'll like it. I have played survival games that have a lot of realism in there, where you have to like eat food, drink water, make sure that you're not freezing to death, although that kinds of things. But I also like my games to be gamey. Like I don't want to play a video game so I can experience real life and like have to take a dump and eat lunch and make sure I sleep. Like I do that already in real life. I don't want to do that in a video game. So I don't know. I'll give it a shot eventually. It is on Game Pass too. Next, we have Helldivers 2. This game exploded, and honestly, like, in my head has potential to be Game of the Year. I don't even think it got nominated, but I would nominate it, and it may be my Game of the Year that was released in 2024. I'm not sure yet, but I played the crap out of this game. Everybody played the crap out of this game. It had a huge cultural impact. Sony did some stupid stuff. People boycotted. Sony undid their stupid stuff, but also didn't at the same time because they just banned the game from being playable in certain countries. Really dumb. Sony did really dumb stuff. But Helldivers 2, regardless, is still so good. It is such a fun shooter where you jump in with the boys, you do missions, you kill bugs and robots, and you get out. Like, it's just it's a good time. Next we have Ultros. Looks like it's a Metroidvania game. Looks like an indie game. Don't know anything about it. Next we have Persona 3 Reload. This is the remake of Persona 3, and I'll probably play this one eventually. Cole borrowed my Xbox, my Series X, for a while to play this game. This is like beginning of the year, maybe March. He played through it really quickly, and I would watch him play a little bit. It looks fun, but it's a big RPG. I'm going to play Persona 5 before I go back and play Persona 3. Next, we have Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. So this game, I believe, is made by the same guys that did Sayonara Wild Hearts, which I really like. I like the art style. I like everything about it. I think it's a puzzle game, and I'll probably play this one eventually too. Like, it looks fun. and it looks like it's going to make my brain think. Next, we have Animal Well. This is the game that was published by Donkey, his studio called Big Mode. It's a Metroidvania, and I heard it's freaking awesome. And I've seen Thane play it a little bit. I've seen a lot of gameplay, a lot of different reviews on it. It looks really cool. The art style is incredibly unique, and it sounds like Donkey hit it out of the park for his first published game. Next, we have Skull and Bones. It is an action-adventure game developed by Ubisoft Singapore, published by Ubisoft. And I think a lot of people just dunked on it and honestly didn't give it really a try. With things like Sea of Thieves out there, like, I don't know, where Sea of Thieves is so good, I think it's hard for other pirate-esque games to be made and come into that scene and try to take some of the audience. I've played Sea of Thieves, it's fun, but like, I don't know, it's a pirate game. I'm sure there's a lot to it. I played a lot of it with my buddies, but I don't know, it just didn't get me to stick around. I know the Sea of Thieves is still incredibly popular, and I don't hear anybody talking about Skull and Bones. Next, we have Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. This is, I think, besides the CDI game, this is the first Zelda game, mainline Zelda series game, that you can actually play as Zelda, and it looks really fun. It's like the 2D-esque, but it's got 3D graphics. It's kind of that isometric top-down view of solving puzzles and doing dungeons and stuff. Like as Zelda, she uses magic to do echoes, which are just copies of things. Like you can do echoes of chairs or monsters, or it looks really fun. I've tried to avoid spoilers as much as possible with this game, so I haven't really watched a ton on it. But what I have seen, it looks really fun, and I'll probably get to it in 2025. Maybe. We'll see. Next, we have Star Wars Outlaws, which I think this is another Ubisoft game. Developed by Massive Entertainment and published by Ubisoft. I have not heard anything good about it. It's, at the end of the day, a lot of people just say it's generic, so Ubisoft is not doing great. Next, we have Harry Potter Quidditch. I mean, it looks like a sports video game. If you like Quidditch, you're probably gonna like this. I haven't tried it, don't know if I will. Frostpunk 2, I don't know much about the Frostpunk series. Looks like it's a city building survival game. It's developed by 11-Bit Studios. I don't know much about it. Next, we have Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade was the start of a lot of controversy because of how hot the main character is. I mean, aside from hearing about that and the huge argument that started, I do want to play this game. I don't know much about it, haven't looked at any spoilers or anything, but its name was going around. So next we have Unicorn Overload. I don't know anything about that. Looks like it's a tactical role-playing game. Then we also have Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. A lot of people really like this game. It's a multiplayer game with the boys where you just slaughter waves of monsters and stuff like that. It looks fun. Destiny 2, The Final Shape. It looks like it's another expansion to the Destiny 2 game. Big MMO game. I've played Destiny 2 a little bit. I played it like 3 or 4 years ago with Cole. I never bought any expansions. I just played the free one that it had. I mean, it's fun. It's very repetitious, and it sounds like in order to stay up to date with Destiny, due to like power creep and stuff like that, you have to play all the time. And if you want to get everything unlocked as far as like the battle passes that you get each season and stuff, you kind of have to devote all your time to Destiny 2, and it's just, I don't know. One day I'm going to get into an MMO and get completely addicted to it and get fat and gross and poop my pants, but Destiny 2 is not going to be that game for me. Next we have Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Dragon Age fans are really upset with this game. There's a lot of political stuff that people are upset with in this game. They think it's boring, they think it's generic, and not fun. I've not played a Dragon Age game, and this is not going to be my first. So, Silent Hill 2 Remake came out. People love this game. People love the original Silent Hill 2, and I've heard nothing but good from this remake. I'll probably play it eventually. It looks really good. I'm stoked for it. I like it when old games get remade so I can play the better versions of them. Next we have Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. Maybe I'm saying that wrong. Looks like it's an RPG. I don't know much about this one. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. I think this is an MMO. Action role-playing game developed by and published by Cygames. Maybe it's not an MMO. I've heard a lot about this game. I don't know much about it, though. I guess as far as hearing about it, its name's popped up in podcasts and videos that I watch, and it seems incredibly popular. Like, I mean, according to this, it shipped 1 million copies within 2 weeks of release, so that's insane. Next, we have Pacific Drive. I don't know anything about this one. Looks like it's a survival game. I like survival games, but I mean, I haven't heard much about that. We have Tales of Kenzura Zao. Don't know anything about that. Looks like it's a Metroidvania game. Next, we have Life is Strange Double Exposure. I don't know anything about this either, other than I'm aware of the Life is Strange series. I've played through, I think, the first 3 episodes, or 3 chapters of the first game. It's fine. We have Tactical Breach Wizards. I don't know anything about that. We have Thank Goodness You're Here. Don't know anything about that. I don't know if that's a visual novel or not. We have Dragon's Quest 3 HD 2D. I have not played... Oh, HD 2D Remake, excuse me. I have not played a single Dragon Quest game, and I probably will eventually. I haven't heard much about this remake, though. Next, we have Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I think this game was released and died very quickly, and people were not happy with it. Next, we have Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree. This is the DLC to Elden Ring, and it was really good. Actually, me and my friends this year played through Elden Ring co-op. If you have it on Steam, there's a co-op mod that you can get on your PC and play it with your friends, and that was such an experience. And I really, really liked it. And then we played through Shadow of the Erd Tree together, and I really, really liked that too. I know I didn't get the typical Elden Ring DLC experience. A lot of people were complaining how hard it was. And even just playing with my friends, yes, it was incredibly hard. And one day I'll go back through it and play the DLC by myself. But it is not this day. That also got nominated for Game of the Year, which a lot of people were really upset because it's the DLC. I guess my only thoughts on that is I'm more inclined to think that maybe the Game of the Year should be more of the best gaming experience of the year. I mean, at the end of the day, the Game Awards for me is just a fun thing. It's all very subjective. Anyway, moving on. Next, we have Farmasia. It is a role-playing game. I don't know anything about that. We have Lego Horizon Adventures. It's just a Lego game of the Horizon series. I mean, there's not much to say there. I love Lego games, but I have not played the Horizon series yet. We have Princess Peach Showtime. Now, this is a game I do want to play. I like platformers, and this is like a kind of a different take. I mean, you're playing through as Princess Peach now. I think she gets different power-ups and costumes and stuff. I mean, it looked fun. I don't know if I want to pay full price for it, but I will play it eventually. Next, we have Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the video game. I have seen the... when I had Netflix, I saw this pop up so many times. It's like, oh, you probably would like this show. I've never watched it. It looked really dumb and cheesy. And I probably won't play the game either, so... Next, we have Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy. I want to play the Ace Attorney games, so that will happen eventually. We also have Neva, N-E-V-A. I don't know anything about that. Looks like it's a puzzle platforming game, and I'd probably like that one. Then we have South Park Snow Day. I have not played a South Park game, but I've watched the show, and it's funny. Maybe someday I'll play a South Park game. Next, we have Balatro, and Balatro is... apparently supposed to be a really addicting game. It's like a poker roguelike, I think is what it is. Card-based specifically, so I think it's poker. I haven't looked much into it. I know everybody really likes it. I like card games, specifically stuff like Solitaire and Hearts. I'll probably like Balatro. I probably should have played it, but I also had the fear of being completely addicted to it. So I will play it eventually. Anyway, that's just kind of the list that I found on Google. Like, it's not like this is the definitive all the games that were released in 2024, because that's insane. There's so many games that get released every single year. But hopefully this covers at least the big ones. The big ones, the bad ones, the good ones, all of it. So this wasn't my favorite year of game releases, but we still got some good stuff. Like, the standouts are freaking amazing. A lot of the ones that I've played and the ones I want to play were really good. But this, for me, this year, 2024, was not the year of new game releases that I played. This was the year of my backlog. And as are all the years going forward, I'm going to continue to do my backlog and sneak in new games where I can. But it's just, there's a lot. I mean, as a gamer, we We have old games. We get new games every year. Good games, bad games, we get all of it. So I love being a gamer. There's a lot to do. You'll never have enough to play. You'll always have enough to play. You'll never have enough time to play it all. So just pick and play the games you want to play. There's tons of stuff out there. If you're struggling with playing newer games that are released due to like budget, or maybe you're burnt out on the AAA games right now, go back to your backlog. Start playing old games. Start playing games you've never heard of, games you've always wanted to, gaming bangers that were released in 2000, whatever, early 2010s and before. Play those. Play through games that you've always wanted to. And if you're not struggling with playing new games, keep enjoying it, because new games are always coming out. So anyway, that's it. Those are the games in 2024 that were released that I wanted to talk about. If I missed some that you think are notable and worth mentioning, let me know down in the comments below. Games that you think I should check out, let me know. But thank you for watching, and as always, keep it rad.